Today in the crypto space, we see the market showing a bit of strength here. Bitcoin at about 44K and Ethereum up approximately 3%, getting a nice strong bounce to the upside. The rest of the crypto space, the altcoins, are waiting for these two heavyweights to make some critical decisions. Are we going to continue to the upside, or are we going to get a fat pullback so that we can capitalize on that fire sale? In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to focus on Bitcoin. Guys, what is Bitcoin up to? Are we going to get that rejection and come back down, or are we going to continue and get to higher levels? So you know what, let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome on the channel. We talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities. Whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click that bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover here on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. You can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. And of course, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's look at the top 100 here and see what's going on with this market. And then, of course, we'll focus on Bitcoin and see what's going on with the Bitcoin price and the overall market. And obviously, Bitcoin as the heavyweight of crypto, it has a big influence on what we could expect in the up and coming days. You guys know that I've been talking about Bitcoin being frothy here at these tops, and I still feel like Bitcoin hasn't changed this idea. At the end of the day, yes, a lot of us are still very, very bullish. So am I. However, guys, seeing Bitcoin to a bit of a pullback and getting a back test on previous price action, a confirmation low would be super, super healthy. Guys, we'll talk about that in a little bit more detail very, very soon. But let's go through this top 100. Ethereum looking strong all of a sudden, guys. We're getting a nice bounce to the upside. It did break out in the last, I would say, 30 minutes or so, showing a bit of strength here. And the rest of the crypto space, the altcoins, are doing good as well. Of course, if Ethereum is showing strength, you could expect the altcoins to show a lot of strength. Now, what I'm very curious on is, how is the Bitcoin dominance handling this? We see that Bitcoin is not doing as well as Ethereum at the current moment, which should mean, and it should translate to the Bitcoin dominance actually falling, which is very healthy if your portfolio is heavy on those altcoins. Okay, tonight at 7:30 Eastern, guys, we'll talk about the Bitcoin dominance. We'll look at the altcoin season potential, and we'll talk about Ethereum and all that good stuff. So, guys, don't forget, tonight at 7:30, I am live. All right, guys, let's continue. We do see AVAX showing strength. Lido, Staked, ETH, anything ETH related could be running up right now. Look at Chainlink doing pretty good. The Oracle, the main Oracle for Ethereum, doing pretty good here. Uniswap, of course, the main DEX for Ethereum, looking pretty good, up 4% as we speak. Ethereum Classic 9%. So what a change, what a turn of events all of a sudden. We saw Bitcoin showing a lot of strength in the last little while, and then all of a sudden Ethereum is taking the driver's seat. Now, could this be a sustainable thing? Could we see Ethereum continue with this? Because a lot of us got a bit faked out lately based on the fact that we were expecting an altcoin season, especially me. That's what I expected. However, guys, it's still pretty much game on. If all of a sudden we see Ethereum come back into the driver's seat, guys, game on for ETH, game on for altcoins. Near Protocol looking pretty good here, up 6%. We have Optimism, OP, part of the Ethereum narrative, of course, doing pretty good. Layer 2 on Ethereum. What else do we have here? A lot of the altcoins are still grinding to the upside, nice and slow and steadily. And Arbitrum as well, doing pretty good. Mantle coming down, VeChain grinding up slowly. Say is doing good, 9%. I think Say, Sui, all these other altcoins are doing great. However, guys, they're a bit frothy in my book. I am not looking for new entries on these larger cap altcoins right now. BitTensor is another one that's been doing crazy stuff lately. Guys, up another 20% today, 73% in the last 7 days. Guys, if you missed out on my TA on BitTensor, you would have got the perfect entry on this on the back test retest before this last leg up. Guys, it's important to pay attention to those retracements and to those good horizontal levels of support, because they come and they go. All right, let's continue. Render getting a nice strong bounce to the upside. Let it run, guys. If you see that the price is in the green and it's running without you, don't feel that you need to FOMO in. Look for the projects that have yet to run and get in at those bottoms. What else do we have here? We have Thorchain Rune waking up 7-8%. Pretty good here, guys. Ordies waking up. A lot of the market is waking up and doing good. However, guys, again, is this sustainable? Is this something that we could expect to last a while? We saw that bounce did come in on the Bitcoin price on the 4-hour chart that we discussed a while back. Now all of a sudden it's all about the daily. Is the daily momentum going to continue in? And if the daily momentum continues in its trajectory, which is to the downside, I'm expecting this to kind of, be over soon. I'm not sure when, but we will discuss this when we look at the Bitcoin chart. But ultimately, this is some green price action that got us some great relief, especially for some of the altcoins. Some of them have been doing pretty good here. But generally speaking here, guys, we can see that a lot of them are still grinding to the upside. You can see that. And the question is still sustainability. Is Bitcoin going to take a hit and bring these altcoins back down to lower levels? All right, guys, let's get right into it. I know you're here to talk about charts. Let's get into talking about Bitcoin. Bitcoin, at the end of the day, is still within range. Guys, nothing really had changed. We did come down to this lower level, broke a bit of structure, changed the structure just a bit. We made that lower low, guys. We were in a nice sideways consolidation for a good while. We made that lower low right into here. Horizontal support came in clutch perfectly. Then all of a sudden, the 4-hour time frame also showed us a nice level of a bounce. And guys, here we are, still looking at the daily and still looking at the price in the chop zone. Let's look at this in a little bit more detail. Now, obviously, you could be playing all kinds of time frames. Trading, it's all about time frames. It's all about looking at charts and finding great entries, great technical analysis, confluence on many time frames. However, guys, here on the channel, I focus on the 4-hour, I focus on the daily, and the daily is still telling me downwards momentum, because we didn't really make a change of structure on momentum. We're still making lower lows and lower highs. And if you look at the MACD, there's this channel here that we're looking at. Histogram bar wise, yes, nice and green, doing pretty good. EMA's facing up. Amazing, good stuff. This is why we're seeing that strong bounce. But still, we got into the bearish control zone. We got a nice EMA cross right into here. Are we getting a bit of relief before we get a continuation down into the bearish control zone? This is one thing that bothers me, is that the time to get bullish was when we were here, right? All of a sudden, we are coming down, and to be bullish at this current moment without confirmation that this trend to the downside is not over bothers me. So I'm going to be cautious here, getting super bullish, especially on Bitcoin. Altcoins, if I find great entries, I'm getting in, no doubt, because again, on altcoin season could be around the corner. Now, if you look at the daily, this is one thing. Let's go back into the 4-hour, because before my previous TA on the market basically showed us that the 4-hour was the place to trade. The daily was not. Look at the 4-hour. The 4-hour momentum was looking very oversold. Double bottom here, a lower low and oversold conditions. And then all of a sudden we were seeing, the price making those lower lows, and all of a sudden getting a nice bounce off of horizontal support. This is where I kind of got, guys, if we're going to get into a bullish stance, we're only going to have to do it on the 4-hour. We cannot do it on the daily. The daily wasn't giving us an edge. And the edge also came from a nice bullish divergence on the MACD. The MACD did its thing. Look at this. Beautiful. Nice bounce back to the bullish control zone. EMAs totally flew to the upside, but now are we in a bit of a frothy zone for momentum? And obviously, if you can see the previous times we got into this level here on the MACD, we did get a bit of a rejection. So Bitcoin right now, in my opinion, it's a bit risky to get into a fresh long. In my opinion, we could get up to about 44 and change, 44 and a quarter. And that for me would be enough. If we go higher, great. You should have your positions already in, and then you could be trailing up stop losses, letting it run up. But to get into a fresh long at the current moment, look at your risk and look at the reward. The risk that you're taking is that we get rejected. Like I said, 44 and a quarter, more or less. Look at these tops, 1, 2, many tops, lots of confluence here. Let me show you. Look at the volume profile. Lots of confluence right into here to suggest that we could get a rejection. Let me thicken this up to emphasize its importance. And you can see that we're very close to a potential rejection point. So that means that, yes, you have some reward from where we are right now. It's not much, but there is. But what about the risk? You can come all the way straight back down. Now, what about the lower low? The aspect is that we did create a lower low. And if we do get rejected right around this level, obviously we can go up a little bit higher even, maybe get up to about 45. That's even very possible, right? If we get rejected, that's still a lower high. This is the high. We come down, make a lower high, and then we already made this lower low. We are making a lower low and lower high type of thing here, which eventually, is going to suggest that this was the pivot point where we eventually are going to start coming down. And this is where a lot of people are fearful in the fact that we got our first change of structure or indication of a change of structure, which is this low. Confirmation would be, again, a lower high and then another lower low. And forget about it, guys. We're coming down to those lower levels. And we could see Bitcoin at about 33, 32K. And that's where the first target for me is, where I'm expecting Bitcoin to be taking a bit of a break. And if it does take a bit of a break, no big deal. We will definitely be ready to buy the dips, right, throughout the market, especially the altcoins. I wouldn't be heavy on the Bitcoin charts. I wouldn't be buying Bitcoin in any great amount, but altcoins for sure, because altcoins right now, in my opinion, are still very undervalued because we didn't get an altcoin season just yet. So let's look at the 4-hour for a second. If you look at the 4-hour, the risk that you're taking getting into a fresh short, or in this case having a short mentality, would be that we actually get into extreme conditions of overbought. We did get slightly overbought, but we didn't get into a really extreme zone. We could still get another impulsive move and get right up there, okay, right into this level as we have done in the past. But you notice that as we have done each time, it's been less and less. So, which means that, we're pretty much on target to not go up a little, to go up more. We could go up more. It's all probability. But at the end of the day, guys, I'm happy not getting into a fresh long. And I'm also happy not getting into a short because we could go a little higher. Right, no confirmations there, no bearish divergence really, because you can see that the price is still higher highs, and so is the RSI. The MACD is getting a bit of bearish divergence right now. We got higher highs on the price action, as you've seen, and you can see these two histogram bar clusters are definitely coming down to these lower levels. And the MACD, the EMAs are not really crossing just yet, so we still have some time, and we don't have a red histogram bar just yet either, so we still have time. So let's not rush the short. Let's not get short squeezed here. I would be waiting for more data, and the data that in fact interests me most here is, again, the supportive evidence for an altcoin season. I've always said, leading up into all of this, especially right into this zone, guys, if we see Bitcoin go sideways, expect altcoin season. And as we see this flush happen, people shaking out of their positions, especially the altcoins upon this dump here, a lot of the altcoins did take a bit of a beating here. Okay, you're going to expect that eventually we might see a recovery. And what will happen if we do see Bitcoin hit its bottom and we get that recovery? What happens to Ethereum? And this is the question: is Ethereum going to start outperforming Bitcoin as Bitcoin goes sideways into this sideways consolidation and potentially distribution phase? This distribution phase could last a while. Like I mentioned before many times, distribution phases can last days, weeks, and if you look at Wakeoff, it can last many weeks. So it could take time. And in this case, Bitcoin becomes boring, altcoins become interesting, and that's where altcoins will get their volume and get their money flow. You'll see a lot of people start cycling their capital into the altcoins, large caps, mid caps, low caps, micro caps, and all of the rest. All right, guys, so this is where we're at right now. In my opinion, it's not healthy, no risk to reward ratio in any shape or form for a short or a long at this moment. You could see that maybe the bulls are going to get exhausted very soon, and then a short might be interesting as we approach this thick white line. Maybe that's where I might be interested in getting into a short position, but I would be doing it very slowly and building that short position over time and not going in too heavy. Okay, let's get back into the daily, because the 4 hours not even giving us much anyway. This is all we got. So let's go into the daily for a second and see, like, volume gap. You could see that there's nothing really giving us any indication anymore. We're filling up all the little gaps into this zone, so we kind of slowly have to understand that there's no real edge into this level, into these levels anymore. But again, we need to expect that the daily time frame might be looking to get oversold. We were overbought. We were once oversold, overbought, and then we can come back to oversold conditions again, and that's where the magic is really going to happen. So what I'm suggesting here is this: if you plan on getting into any projects right now, understand that, you know, we could continue to the upside. We could get an altcoin season, and yes, you want some exposure. However, guys, if Bitcoin does get oversold, again, the RSI comes down to this level, we are going to see a continuation to the downside market wide. And we're going to see a lot of the altcoins that are in the chop zone on the RSI, in the mid zone of the RSI, hesitating. We will see them get oversold as well, and we will see them enter that fire sale again. So that way, you need to ensure that you always have a bit of capital for that scenario. Nobody knows where the market's going to take us. It's all a game of probability. And statistically speaking, if we are far away or in the chop zone or somewhere in the trajectory to get oversold, the probability is that we could still get there, and you need to have some capital reserved, ready to deploy at those levels. So again, wait for oversold conditions, make sure you have some capital for those oversold conditions on Bitcoin, and then start looking for those horizontal supports. And of course, guys, I'll give you updates along the way as I see fit. I'm going to be live tonight at 7:30 Eastern talking about crypto news and price action. And of course, guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover, that is a great time and place to make those requests live. And of course, the Discord, guys, the Discord's where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. Take care, guys. Have a good one, and don't forget, buy the dip.